trying to figure out what I could really benefit the farm best with this kind of grant money, which is a very nice amount of money, I must say. Nothing to sneeze about. So one thing we do is, because we're an organic farm, we're really keen on rotational crops, and we grow hay, corn, wheat, and vegetables. But primarily the vegetables are the workhorse of the farm, and that's what really generates the revenues for us. But these other crops, which I used to think as kind of secondary crops, have now become more of a primary crop, well, as much of a primary crop for us. And we've kind of geared towards growing a particular style of crop. I mean, yellow corn is yellow corn, but we want to grow a feed grade, a human consumption grade, which is a higher quality than standard feed grade corn. And of course the wheat also, we don't grow winter wheat anymore, which became mostly feed wheat. We switched over to spring wheat a few years ago because we found a more readily market for this, because it's a higher protein wheat and it's what the millers want. I mean, they'll take this high protein and they can blend up or down with other lesser quality wheats. So but the downside is, of course, with spring wheat is you get a lot less yield, and it's a much more trickier product to try and get a good yield. But when we get a yield, we want to put it upright. Ideally, we like to send this product immediately to the receiver. Unfortunately, a lot of the receivers are in Montana, Canada, and there are a few in Colorado, a couple that'll take organic wheat, but it's sometimes it's a little difficult to get in the door with them. We've had some good luck with Ardent Mills in Denver. They've been a very good repository for our wheat, but even they have space issues, believe it or not. And when they get filled up, you just got to have your wheat somewhere, and you can't just throw this high quality wheat on the ground. And that's very uncomfortable to know you've got 10,000 bushels or 20,000 or whatever it is, and you don't have a place to store it. And you kind of got to see this coming down the road, and sometimes you think you do, but then the elevator tells you, hey, you got a place for it. And this has happened more than once, and so I've secured a few places where I can put this wheat, but I've never felt comfortable. They're not organic facilities, and I just don't like I'm a control freak, and so I like to have control over my product at my property. And so consequently, that's why I put that in, and we got it. And I was like kind of surprised, but happily, of course. So we haven't even started construction on it, just to let you know. It took me almost a year to find a contractor. When I would go to the farm show, most of these companies that were erecting these grain bins were out of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and I wanted a Colorado company to do this. I felt, this money should stay in at least Colorado. And I thought, well, better yet, they will just go out and buy a couple of used bins, because they used to be quite easy to find on the internet. Problem is, once again, you generally had to drive out to Timbuktu, de-erect them, and then bring them back and re-erect them. And so consequently, that's what took me some time to finally find and just realize I'm just going to have to hire a professional, which I'm not, and come in and do this. And I did find a company in Yuma. And so, we signed the contract, and they'll be up and available for us this year. Some people are under the impression that this is a whole grain facility. It's not. It's just simply warehousing storage for it. We grow some wheat for some other smaller people, other contracts that we have, and we've got it in totes right now, and in containers. And I'm telling you, that's a pain in the ass to move that stuff out of totes in those containers, opening containers, getting it out. It's great because it's mouse proof as heck. So, but those containers, they're just not efficient for us. And I thought of every way. I'm like, maybe I can get those containers and turn them up on end, but no, it's just the grain bin's the way to go. We can auger in and auger out. It'll have airflow, of course, which everybody knows you got to have that. We're not interested in drying our grain down. We want to harvest it at, you know, nothing above 15. But when it comes to corn, which will definitely be the first thing that'll probably go in possibly this year, it's a little difficult sometimes for us to get that corn in the bin at, you know, at 15. Now, a lot of times it comes in, I mean, because we're in Colorado and the weather, we live and die by it, we can't get it pulled down before it's 18. And you cannot put corn in a bin without proper air movement at 18. So that's what was really nice, and looking forward to that. But then we'll also have a lot more acreage of corn this year, and what our intention is once we get it dried down to an acceptable level and we feel comfortable with it, I purchased a couple years ago, I bought a grain bagger. Everyone knows what that is, right? I assume. Just looks like a giant tube sock. And you can get about 8,000 bushels in one of those. And so what we'll do is dry that corn down to a acceptable level, and hopefully, in my mind, we'll be doing all this while we're harvesting, and then we'll just move it right into a tube. We could have done that with wheat also, but the problem is when, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know already, you could always get a hailstorm before the end of the season. And if you get a hailstorm and you've got your wheat in a tube sitting out there, that hail will just poke a hole in that thing, and you're just ruined your whole crop, more or less. So we want to have a steel bin to protect our stuff until we can move it to a more temporary storage. We're probably never going to put wheat in a tube, but we certainly would put that corn. Really, I don't have anything else to add. I can take questions, though.
Yeah.
Hit me. Yes, ma'am.
So, what if the hail accidentally hit the corn inside the tube?
Inside the bin or the bag?
The bag.
The bag. Well, the hail will poke a hole in there, and then moisture will get in there. And that moisture will cause that corn to turn into yuck. So, not good. But if it's steel, that hail hits that steel, it's not going to do anything to it. So it's safe. Does that answer your question? Oh, good, good. Anything else?
What are you doing for rodents?
Well, we have a professional company that comes and, you know, puts out these, what's that, Eco Lab. You know, so we keep on it. We can't let the mice get ahead of us there, for sure. So we have a year-round contract with them, and they just come out and take care of it.
Dave, is this just one large bin, or is
No,
it
it's two. I wanted three. I wanted 3 bins at first, but you know, I have a beer budget and a champagne taste, so consequently.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking grain bins in your area will be kind of valuable soon with tours.
Well, yeah. Now, interesting enough, I've heard that the Coors granary up on 115th is for sale if anybody wants to buy it. I just found that out, and I don't know if it's true. But
50, 80.
is it true? There you go. Man, I could make a nice pickleball court in there. So, yeah. Anything else? All right, great. Hey, thanks a lot.
Well,
Yep.
what was it like applying for the grant and working with them once you got the grant?
Oh, Tim Broderick, very easy to work with, and you know, we've had good correspondence with them. I felt a little bad that I didn't pull the trigger right away and get a contractor in, but I kind of feel like, you know, fools rush in sometimes, and I just wanted to make sure I was doing this, you know, logically. I mean, I would have liked to have had it last year, but you know, it's going to happen now. So, yeah, easy. I would say it was very enjoyable to work with them so far. Done? Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.